Well, good evening and welcome to another exciting episode of Love Not Fear. I'm Jack Cox, author of Love Not Fear, and I'm with my usual gorgeous co-host, Annie Day, who's written 2 scrumptious books.
Orgasmic Health and your guide to feeling fabulous fast.
So, welcome to our Valentine's special. I just want to say, for those of you who aren't in a stable relationship, a happy, loving relationship, and that includes me, that there's something special for you at the end. So please don't just click off.
And from me as well. And I was
Brilliant.
going to start by talking about the primary relationship that we need to have with ourselves.
Excellent. So let me just do a little bit. Well, actually, do you want to do that first, Annie?
Yeah, sure. So I've been a sex therapist and relationship counsellor for a very long time, but also I have my own experience and the experience of my friends, my family, and everybody else. And I know with absolute certainty that you cannot love someone else if you don't love yourself. If you don't treat yourself with love and respect, then you can't expect anybody else to do that for you. So I've had this in my love corner for a couple of weeks now, and it is from a lady called Shakti Gawain.
Oh, yes, and I remember Shakti Gawain.
Oh, she's lovely, isn't she?
She's gorgeous.
My primary relationship is with myself. All others are mirrors of it. As I learn to love myself, I automatically receive the love and appreciation that I desire from others. If I am committed to myself and to living my truth, I will attract others who are equally committed. My willingness to be intimate with my own deep feelings creates the space for intimacy with another. As I learn to love myself, I receive the love I desire from others. And I just think that's very wise words, isn't it?
I think that's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, we've got to love ourselves first.
Absolutely, sweetie.
So on that note, before we get into the history and origins of Valentine's Day, today I want to read you an article that was written by a very dear friend of mine, Juliet, who runs the Healing Waters Sanctuary down in Glastonbury. The article is called Finding Your Inner Lover by Juliet Yelverton. Dumped again? Time to find your inner lover. Sometimes love seems to fade, and what was a happy relationship suddenly feels empty. It's sad when both are in agreement that the time has come to finish, but it's even sadder when you're the one that's still in love, but your partner wants to quit. How painful to be left with such longing and unrequited love. To be forced to separate and break apart all that was joined can feel unendurably painful. Intense feelings of loss, abandonment, and rejection can feel like they're ripping you apart. Sleep can become elusive, and the desire to nourish the body diminishes. Nothing has meaning anymore. Your world has been turned upside down. Depression can set in with feelings of worthlessness. Sometimes this pattern repeats itself. New love is found, and the same thing happens again. How can one survive such pain? The seemingly never-ending cycle of loss and abandonment can trigger a rage leading to the destruction of everything around you. You might even direct it towards yourself in a very unconscious way through self-destructive behaviours such as addictions like heavy drinking, drugs, shoplifting, or promiscuity. An endless cycle of things that seek to evade the intensity of the pain of loss. Lifting yourself out of such a situation can be difficult, especially if there has become a pattern of addiction. How can you regain a sense of worthiness when you've deemed yourself unworthy and then gone on to do things that cause you to feel even more shame? Life becomes a spiral of pain, and yet, astonishingly, it's possible to change your life and even find love again. It will be remarkable when you get to the other side of this experience. It'll be like you're a new person. Human love and connection is very powerful and important. We need each other, and we need love. When we've been broken too many times, we may not even love ourselves. The first step in a healing relationship is to love yourself. Can you learn to treat yourself as your beloved? No amount of seeking love outside of yourself will ever end the pain if you're not loving and honouring yourself. Take time to notice the ways in which you're not being kind to yourself, and begin to do daily things that make life easier and happier. Put yourself first. It's not selfish. Become aware of your self-talk. Keep a notepad and write down the negative statements that you make to yourself. Learn to counter these with a simple reply to your mind. Thank you for your opinion, but I don't need this now. You can use EFT, emotional freedom technique, to work with difficult emotions that arise. Saying always, even though I feel, and you put in the emotion that you're feeling, I completely love and accept myself. Even though I feel abandoned, I love and accept myself. Even though I feel worthless, I love and accept myself. Make peace with all the places in yourself where you feel angry or have felt betrayed. A simple daily practice is to create a quiet, safe place for yourself where you're comfortable. Light a candle. Pay attention to your breathing, allowing it to be soft and gentle. When you notice a painful thought or emotion or a physical sensation, you can gently say, I release, and state the experience with forgiveness and love. I release this feeling of worthlessness with forgiveness and love. I release this state, I release this feeling of abandonment with forgiveness and love. Another powerful practice is Ho'oponopono, the Hawaiian prayer of forgiveness. The understanding is that we experience in life, moment to moment, is the result of the sum total of everything that has happened before. Negative experiences arising at the moment are aberrations in our energy field as a result of this collection of memories. In your meditative state, when you notice a painful event, visualize it as an error in your field and send pink light and love to the problem. Then say, I am sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. By untangling yourself from the perceived perpetrator of your pain, you are freeing yourself. It's not so that you stay a victim or a doormat, but so that you experience that you yourself are worthy and powerful. So, I highly recommend working with Juliet Yarberton. I have Huge respect for her as a trauma therapist and as a person. You can contact Juliet on her website, www.healingwaters.co.uk. That's www.healing-waters.co.uk, or give Juliet a ring. I should be glad to get your call on 014 58 835 859. The first
Well,
step.
I think that all the relationships that I've ever had, including a marriage, all taught me the same lesson over and over and over again: to love myself unconditionally, put my own oxygen mask on first. As soon as those people were not able to treat me with love and respect, it was me that walked away from the relationship. And it takes a lot of bravery and courage to do that. But I am so proud of myself for doing that, because if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have the amazing life I've got now. And I know that I have a great capacity to love. And if I hadn't have ended those relationships when they weren't loving and respectful, I would have been dishonoring my own soul, and I won't do that for anybody. So I do know that, ending a relationship sometimes is the best thing that we can possibly do for ourselves. I really do think that's the case, because we can't allow ourselves to be ready to love again and free of the past if we're still hanging on to that past relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so potent, Ho'oponopono. It's so massively, although we're doing it for the other person as well as ourselves, we get the most benefit out of it, just like we do with forgiveness. By forgiving them, we can put that big rotting sack of potatoes of lack of forgiveness down on the floor and not engage with it anymore. That's what my dad used to liken the lack of forgiveness to: a sack of rotting potatoes on your back. And the quicker you say and do forgive the other person, you're not saying that what they did was right. You're just saying that at this moment in time, I will no longer let this affect me. So we forgive them, but actually it's a gift to ourselves as well, Jack. I really feel that.
Yeah, I always like to say that prayer to myself, and I'm asking for forgiveness for creating that situation in the first place.
Yeah. We've just seen a message.
That has to go along with the idea that you're never, ever, ever blaming anybody else for anything. You're always taking 100% responsibility yourself for everything that's happened in your life.
We've had a message from Gillian. So one of the things that Juliet Carte got us to say repeatedly is, I am the light. I am the starlight on the darkest night. I am the light of the never setting sun. I am the light that comes from the one. And by saying that repeatedly, I am the light. I am the starlight on the darkest night. I am the light of the never setting sun. I am the light that comes from the one. When we're saying that, we're really loving and appreciating ourselves, irrespective of what anybody else. Oh, she's just got goosebumps from me saying it. Yeah. It's same.
No,
same.
That's beautiful, Julian. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, thank you for contributing that. That's lovely.
Yeah, Juliet Carter's language is beyond beautiful, isn't it? Just so lovely.
I'll put a link to that in the description as well, Juliet.
Okay, sweetheart, thank you. Okay, so before you go on learning the unique and interesting Valentine's Day traditions from around the world that make the Day of Love so special in these countries, here's a brief story about how it started. So Valentine's Day around the world is celebrated in the name of Saint Valentine. There's so many stories about him, so I've just selected two. But whose is this mysterious saint, and why is the festival celebrated with such gusto globally? Although the truth behind the festival is murky, there are a few stories that you may like to know. It's said that Valentine was a priest who served during the 3rd century in Rome. When Emperor Claudius II announced that single men made better soldiers than those with families and wives, he outlawed marriage for young soldiers.
Yeah, Annie's having trouble with her connection, so I'm just going to fill this bit in for her, if you don't mind. As Annie's already said, Claudius was so determined to stop love sapping the will of his armies that he banned marriage altogether. Father Valentine thought the ban unjust and defied the emperor, continuing to marry young lovers in secret. The emperor eventually caught on to the priest's activities and arrested him and sentenced him to death, as they used to do in those days. It's believed that young couples who he'd secretly married would visit his cell and pass him flowers and notes through the bars to say thank you for what he'd done. And the story continues that Father Valentine fell in love with his jailer's daughter, and he was executed on February the 14th, apparently. And I mean, this is just a story, I don't know how true it is. And he passed on his way to his execution, he passed his lover a note saying, "From your Valentine," and a tradition was born. It's a nice story. Don't know whether it's true or not, but it's a nice story.
So popular that couples all across the world started celebrating Valentine's Day as the day of love. So in Taoism and Tantra, we like any excuse to celebrate love, basically. So although there are people who say that we shouldn't be celebrating it, it's just an excuse for us to spend more money, I think any excuse to express love to someone. I celebrate Father's Day, Mother's Day, and all my family, friends, and other people's birthdays. So any excuse to, all you need is love.
Love is all you need.
All you need is love.
Love is all you need.
All you need is love, love. Love is all you need. So, Valentine's Day traditions around the world. Check out these interesting Valentine's Day traditions around the world. This day isn't all about flowers and chocolates around the world. Different countries celebrate it in their own unique fashion. Argentina. For a week of sweetness, the Argentinians don't celebrate Valentine's Day in February, but a week of sweetness. I love this. In July, it's the day when lovers exchange kisses, receive chocolates, and other sweets. In this country, the day actually started as a commercial invention, but later has become Valentine's traditions. It is believed that the very first ever Valentine's Day card was originated in France when Charles, the Duke of Orleans, sent love letters to his wife from the prison in 1415. And the French village called Valentine turns into the epicenter of romance between the 12th and 14th of February. One can see beautiful yards, trees, and homes decorated with love cards, roses, and proposals for marriage. It probably is the most beautiful Valentine's Day traditions in the world. So in South Korea, the romantic couples in South Korea celebrate the day of love on the 14th.
Annie's just frozen on the screen.
Annie, You've frozen, my love. I don't know. We are having problems this evening. I do apologise.
Oh, they're just with their trickery, Jack, aren't they?
I don't think it's that. I think it's a bandwidth problem. We've had this before. So
Do you want me to carry on?
I can hear you now. Yeah, lovely.
I want to actually go back a paragraph and start again, because I'll be editing.
Okay, look.
Just go back a paragraph, because we missed an awful lot of what you were saying.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. See?
Yeah, we can still hear you.
Okay, so South Korea. The romantic couples in South Korea celebrate the Day of Love on the 14th of each month. Yes, that's right. The Day of Roses is celebrated in May. The Day of Kisses is celebrated in June. And the Day of Hugs is celebrated in December.
It's gorgeous.
And single people celebrate the Black Day in April by eating black noodles. It is completely different as a Valentine's Day tradition. In the Philippines, Valentine's Day is the day when many young couples marry in an event sponsored by the government as a form of public service. Among the most amazing Valentine's Day celebrations around this world, this one is a gala event in the countryside and a special day for all young people and older people who wish to get married. In Ghana, February the 14th is celebrated as National Chocolate Day. Woohoo! I'd be quite happy with that. It is a step that the Ghana government took in 2007 to increase tourism in the country. Ghana is among the largest cocoa producing countries in the world. On February the 14th, one can attend performances, music events, and restaurants that have themed chocolate menus for the special day. I like the sound of that.
Yeah,
special
absolutely.
Chocolate menu.
Some of that.
You're going to love the next one, Jack. So Bulgaria is the Day of Winemakers. So Bulgaria, on the Day of Winemakers, like any other country, Bulgaria celebrates Valentine's Day in its own unique style. On the 14th of February, San Trifon Zartan is celebrated in Bulgaria, which means the Day of the Winemakers. Young and old couples celebrate their love with a glass of wonderful local wine. What do you think of that, Jack?
I think that's a very good idea. I'm
Wales.
Definitely up for that.
I thought you might be. So yeah, you just need to be in Bulgaria, darling. Bulgaria. Way. So Wales, the Day of Sandwin. It is called the Day of Sandwin. This is probably a rubbish. On that day, lovers exchange pronunciation and beautifully handcrafted wooden spoons to each other. This tradition is being practiced and has been since the 16th century. So I am a frequent flyer to Wales, and they do make the most beautiful wooden carved love spoons. I've got some hung up in my garden, but yeah, I don't feel like going getting them for you at the moment because it's freezing.
Well, there you go, in the dark and the cold and the wet.
Thanks, Jack. So Spain, the feast of San Denis, the Day of Love in Valencia of Spain, falls on the 9th of October. This is known as the Feast of San Denis. The festival is celebrated in most parts of Spain by making macadora, a marzipan figurine. The figurines are made by the men to gift to their female companions. One can also witness colourful parades on the streets and villages of Spain. Carry on.
Yeah. Carry on.
Southwest China is called Sisters' Meal Festival. In Maui, Southwest China, the Sisters' Meal Festival is celebrated on the 15th of March. During the festival, women wear silver accessories, beautiful dresses, which are probably the most gorgeous Valentine's Day customs around the world. They cook various dishes of coloured rice that's offered on silk fabric to their young men who are walking along the road.
Oh, nice one.
I know. I thought that was really sweet.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
The destiny of the love lies inside the object found in the chosen rice. 2 chopsticks mean love, and you should continue, and a clove of garlic means you shouldn't continue. So kind of like fortune cookies, I guess.
Yeah.
So Denmark, a celebration of love. Although Valentine's Day is one of the new Denmark festivals, the country also celebrates the Day of Love and Romance on the 14th of February with a twist. In Denmark, Valentine's Day is not limited to roses and chocolates. Friends, lovers, and family all exchange handmade cards with pressed white flowers that are called snowdrops.
Oh, that's lovely.
I think that sounded really lovely.
Yeah, I think that's gorgeous. Snowdrops, yeah.
And also, you know, that you'd be doing that for your family and friends, not just your lover. So Romania has an unusual celebration. If you're looking for some very romantic and unusual celebration of Valentine's Days around the world, then Romanians will not disappoint you. Their day is celebrated on the 24th of February as the day when young couples get engaged. It is basically their mix of Valentine's Day and the celebration of spring season. Young men and women go to the forest to pick colourful flowers, while other couples wash their faces with snow as a sign of purity and good luck. What do you think of that?
I'll have a pint of that. Hang on,
Estonia.
Hang on, Annie. We've got a comment here. Can you read it out?
Love is every day, not just one day a year. Energy harvesting. I don't like chocolate, but I'm fine with a glass of wine. Good, I'm glad we found something that you might like.
Bear that one in mind.
So, in Estonia, there is a festival for everyone. On the 14th of February, Estonians celebrate Friendship Day on the 14th of February, called Subromnav. This amazing festival includes everyone, couples, singles, lovers, family members and friends, and they all exchange handmade gifts and chocolate and celebrate love. There seems to be a bit of a theme, doesn't there, with the chocolate, obviously.
Yes, doesn't there? Yeah.
Japan, an exchange of unique gifts. Japan does it quite differently. They do celebrate on the 14th of February, and women buy gifts and chocolates for their male companions and lovers. Men cannot return the gifts until March the 14th, which is called Ladies' White Day. So the boys get their presents straight away, but the girls have to wait till March the 14th for some lovely reason. So, Czech Republic. The Czech Republic celebrate romance on Valentine's Day, and as this has become very popular among all people. The festival is also celebrated not only on the 14th of February, but on the 1st of May in the country. On the day, young couples will go on a pilgrimage to the statue of the poet Karl Heinrich Matcha and kiss under the cherry trees for good luck. It is an excuse for families to have al fresco picnics under the cherry trees. And we all know what cherry blossoms like. It's just the most beautiful, beautiful colour, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So Brazil, they have a Lover's Day. Dia dos Namorados, apparently, is how it's pronounced. It's also known...
Dia do what?
Dia dos Namorados.
Okay.
Which is known as Lover's Day and is celebrated in Brazil. There is the usual exchange of chocolates, cards, wine, flowers, and one can witness music festivals and dance performances too. Beautiful. Gifting is not reserved for couples during the festival. Family dinners are commonplace on this day too. I quite like that it's just a day of love. Just another excuse for us to...
not just for lovers, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, exactly. Every day is a day to love, isn't it?
Yeah.
So England, the festival of romantic love. On Valentine's Day in England, women in the past centuries used to place 5 bay leaves on their pillows. This was done with an aim to bring dreams of their future husbands. In Norfolk, you'll love this next bit, Jack Valentine acts as a Santa Claus for Valentine's Day. Children wait for Jack Valentine to come and bring them presents, and they seem to have forgotten that they haven't seen old Father Valentine. So Jack Valentine, you're doing your funky stuff on the 14th of February as well.
I
thought that was quite sweet.
Bloody hell.
It doesn't say what his mode of travel is, so I don't know how he gets about, whether he has a sleigh or some other thing, I don't know.
I'm not doing it unless I can have a Harley.
Oh, mate, I'm with you. Definitely got to be a Harley. Definitely got to be a Harley. With a big sledge on the back, I reckon that would sort things out beautifully, wouldn't it? So Italy is a popular day for couples. Originally, Italians celebrated Valentine's Day as their spring festival. Another Italian Valentine's Day tradition was for young and married couples to wake up before dawn to go for a walk in the forest to see if they could spot their future husbands. Today, Italians celebrate by exchanging gifts between lovers, romantic dinners, but again, it is a family occasion. I like that.
Yeah.
Any excuse to be having nice foods and spending time with your family, just celebrating the fact that we have got love in our world.
Absolutely.
Then we've got Slovenia. In Slovenia, St. Valentine is one of their patron saints of spring. It is believed that on February the 14th, plants start to regenerate, as this day marks the first day of working in the fields for the new year. There is another popular belief in Slovenia that birds propose to each other on this day. I don't know how you'd verify that, but maybe they do. In order to witness this occasion, they encourage each other to walk barefoot through fields that are often still frozen. So yeah, if you're committed to doing this, you need to be able to walk barefoot in the snow, basically. But whether you're single or already in a loving relationship with someone, these centuries-old Valentine's Day traditions around the world that celebrate love, happiness, and friendship will give us all something to enjoy.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you for that, Annie. That's lovely. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That'd be awesome, darling. So this is one of my favourite Sufi poets, and I've read this a couple of times previously. But yeah, I just really love Khalil Gibran's viewpoint on love. Then said Al-Mitra, speak to us of love. And he raised his head and looked upon the people, and there fell a stillness upon them. And with a great voice he said, when love beckons to you, follow him, though his ways are hard and steep. And when his wings enfold you, yield to him, though the sword hidden among his pinions may wound you. And when he speaks to you, believe in him, though his voice may shatter your dreams, as the north wind lays waste the garden. For even as love crowns you, so shall he crucify you. Even as he is for your growth, so he is for your pruning. Even as he ascends to your height and caresses your tenderest branches that quiver in the sun, so shall he descend to your roots and shake them in their clinging to the earth. Like sheaves of corn, he gathers you onto himself. He threshes you to make you naked. He sifts you to free you from your husks. He grinds you to whiteness. He kneads you until you are pliant. And then he assigns you to his sacred fire, that you may become sacred bread for God's sacred feast. All these things shall love do unto you, that you may know the secrets of your heart, and in that knowledge become a fragment of life's heart. But if in your heart you would seek only love's peace and love's pleasure, then it is better for you to cover your nakedness and pass out of love's threshing floor into the seasonless world, where you shall laugh, but not all of your laughter, and weep, but not all of your tears. Love gives naught but itself and takes naught but from itself. Love possesses not, nor would it be possessed. For love is sufficient unto love. When you love, you should not say, God is in my heart, but rather, I am in the heart of God. And think not that you can direct the course of love. For love, if it finds you worthy, directs your course. Love has no desire but to fulfill itself. But if you love and must needs have desires, let these be your desires: to melt and be like a running brook that sings its melody to the night, to know the pain of too much tenderness, to be wounded by your own understanding of love, and to bleed willingly and joyfully, to wake at dawn with a winged heart and give thanks for another day of loving, to rest at the noon hour and meditate love's ecstasy, to return home at eventide with gratitude, and then to sleep with a prayer for your beloved in your heart and a song of praise upon your lips.
That's beautiful, Annie. Yeah, you've read that out before, haven't you, on the show? That's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah,
I just think it says it all, really, that, you know, we are very blessed that on this earth we have love.
We are very
in whatever format that might be. And yeah, what do we keep singing, Jack Cox, for Andrew especially, to advertise Andrew's book? All you need is love.
Love
La
is
la
all
la
we
la
need.
la. All you need is love.
Love
La
is all
la
we
la
need.
la la. All you need is love.
Love.
Love is all you need.
Da, 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 da.
Thank you for being my backing group.
Right.
Oh, this is from Gillian. Love is the highest vibration. Fear is the lowest. Lovely work, Annie.
Yeah, absolutely, Julian, absolutely. Well, Valentine's Day. The days are getting longer. Just last week we celebrated Imolg, or Candlemas as some people call it. The first stirrings of new life in the belly of Mother Earth after the winter solstice. And soon the days will grow warmer. Animals and birds feeling the stirrings of new passion. And courtship is beginning, and so it is for us. So how did all this Valentine's Day thing get started? How did this Valentine's Day thing get started? Well, it can be traced back to ancient Greece and ancient Rome. The ancient Greek festival of Lycia was a wolf festival, honouring the great god Pan, who wasn't a wolf. But I don't quite get that, but anyway. There was obviously an element of wolf worship in there too. So honouring the great god Pan, the great horned god Pan, the Greek festival of Lycia, a wolf festival, also honouring the great horned god Pan, who the Romans call Faunus. Pan is depicted as half man and half goat, and is a fertility symbol. In Greek religion and mythology, Pan is the god of nature, and of shepherds and of flocks, flute music, and the companion of nymphs. Lucky bugger. He's not so much a god of love, but of strong passion. Pan's zodiac sign is Capricorn, the goat, an animal of strong sexual potency. Pan hails from the region of ancient Greece, known as Arcadia, the land that existed before the moon, and maybe we can do a show on that one week. Area of Greece that existed before the moon. People remember it? Lycaea was a passionate rite of spring celebration with a secret ritual on the slopes of Mount Lycaon, the Wolf Mountain, the tallest peak in rustic Arcadia. The wolf theme continues into Roman tradition with the 3-day festival of Lupercalia, observed annually between the February the 13th and the 15th, to purify the city, promoting health and fertility. It honours Lupa, the she-wolf of Rome, who suckled Romulus and Remus. The statue to her stood in the Lupercal, which is a cave where tradition held that Romulus and Remus were suckled by the she-wolf. Lupercalia often involved various methods of divination, sex magic, and initiations into the ancient mystery schools. The ritual also included a matchmaking ceremony, a matchmaking lottery, in which men drew the names of women from a jar, and the couple would then be joined together for the duration of the festival. And if things went well, and apparently they often did, the relationship would often last much longer than that. The modern version of this ancient holiday, which we now call Valentine's Day, keeps alive some of the Lupercalia symbols. We give red roses, and red was very important to the Romans as representing menstrual blood. And we often give white roses too, and white represents the colour of semen. In the 5th and 6th, in the 5th century, I'll start that again. I'm sorry, I'll read that again. In the 5th century CE, Pope Juliet I declared February the 14th as St. Valentine's Day. As to the actual St. Valentine, who was he? I mean, we don't really know. There were quite a few Valentines canonized around about that time. And Annie has told you the story about one particular one who stood up for the single soldiers and married them, although they were forbidden from marrying. Maybe true, maybe not true. I don't know. Our modern Valentine's Day, removed from its religious past, has evolved into one of the most celebrated holidays on the calendar. And of course, it's now highly commercialised. I don't have the UK figures to hand at the time of recording this. But in America, lovers shower their beloveds with 180 million red roses every year, and almost 36 million heart-shaped boxes of chocolates. Not to mention all the cards, dinners, and diamonds. All told, the holiday brings in almost $14 billion to the American economy. Well, it gives retailers plenty to love this time of year. But if you're worried that you can't afford that, take heart. The Beatles were right. Love really is all you need. And we don't need all the commercial crap, in my humble opinion. Now, here's an interesting little thing to look at. The shape of this heart symbol that we talk about on the cards and the chocolate boxes. You know, where did it come from? Doesn't really look like a heart, does it? Doesn't look anything like the organ, the heart. So there are lots of different theories as to where it originated. And some people say that if you turn it upside down, it looks like a voluptuous woman's arse, and I can hardly comment. Not that I ever look at voluptuous women's arses. Another belief is that the symbol originated from the shape of ivy leaves, as the Greeks associated the ivy with the god Dionysus, the god of passion and wine. The Romans called Bacchus, of course. But let's look at another intriguing idea that may or may not be true. Cyrene, also known as Kyrene, was an ancient Greek city, later became a Roman city, in what's now called Syria. It was the oldest and most important of the 5 Greek cities in the region, founded in 631 BCE and abandoned in the 4th century CE. Cyrene grew a crop called silphium, also known as laserwort, that was described as a type of giant fennel, with crunchy stalks and small clumps of yellow flowers. Today we don't quite know what it was, and it's probably extinct. It was used in classical antiquity as a seasoning, a perfume, as an aphrodisiac, and this is the relevant bit, and as a medicine. It was also used as a contraceptive. It was the most essential item of trade from ancient North Africa. And so it was critical to the Cyrenian economy. Indeed, most of their coins were actually printed with stamped with a representation of this plant. And if you go on to Wikipedia and put Cyrene in, you'll see some pictures of these coins. Exports of the plant and its resin made Cyrene the richest city on the continent at the time. The silver coins from the 6th century BCE are imprinted with images of the plant stalk, the thick column with flowers on top and leaves sticking out, and its heart-shaped pods. Now, this is why we think it may have a relevance here. The pods were the shape of the traditional heart symbol. On one coin you can see a seated woman with one hand touching the plant and the other hand pointing at her genitals. Silphium was used widely in the ancient world, in the Mediterranean cultures. So, did the heart-shaped symbol that we're all so familiar with today originate as a representation of a silphium seed pod, an aphrodisiac? It's an intriguing idea. Okay, one last thing I want to say before we close. I just want to give a shout out to a new political party that's come on the scene, the Love Party. And love is an acronym. Love is an acronym for liberation, opportunity, vitality, and empowerment. And UK Column did a wonderful interview with the founding members last week, and I shall put a link to that in the description below as well. I mean, this is an absolutely refreshing approach to politics. It's bottom up, not a top down system. Grassroots party. Give them your support. I've given them mine. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to add before we close? Andrew, you haven't
Come on,
said
Andrew.
anything?
I bet Andrew's got something to say. Andrew writes beautiful love poetry.
I usually have a funny at the end, don't I? Well,
and you do write
I do,
the most
but
beautiful
I was
love
just thinking
poetry.
about Valentine's Day, and well, that's very kind of you to say, and I have a lot more hidden away, which maybe I need to share at some later point. But yes, I was just thinking about Valentine's Day and how I used to be upset. One year I was upset I didn't get any Valentine's card, and then I got a card, and it said, this is early teenage years, and it said, guess who, ? In capital letters. And I was really struggling, could it be this person? Could it be that person? Yeah, could it? And then the following year, the same scroll, the capital letters, guess who, ? And then the third year, I realised it was my mum.
Oh, bless her. What a sweet
I said, Mum, it is really beautiful that you love me, but I was hoping to get one from somebody other than family. So the following year, I got 2 cards, and I was all excited all over again. And then she's sniggering in the background. She sent them both.
Oh, bless her.
Oh, she said, actually, I didn't write the other one. That wasn't me, but I got somebody to write it for me.
Oh, bless her. That was a sweet thing to do, though, Andrew.
Your mum must love you very much. That's gorgeous.
So yes,
Yeah.
love is the most beautiful subject matter. I think that we are love, and my book, when it finally arrives, I'm going to be working on it this week. I promise you. It's so near to being ready.
Release, isn't it, Andrew?
As I've told you before, there's many different types of love. I think in Greek there's at least 7 words for love.
Yeah, for love.
And what we're talking about here, I believe, is eros, romantic love. Although you've talked about familial love and brotherly love as well. But Valentine's Day is usually for the romantic side of love. But I do believe that even those of us who sadly don't have that kind of romantic love that we would like to have in our lives, there is love. And we started at the beginning of tonight talking about loving ourselves. And when you love yourself, you're always with yourself. So you've always got your lover with you.
Yeah, absolutely. No, 100%, darling, 100%.
So thanks everyone for coming. Thank you, Gillian. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Kenneth. And a big thank you to my lovely co-host, Annie Day, without whom none of this would be possible. Namaste.